Hello and welcome to OnPoint Technologies Webinar Wednesday. We're thrilled to have you with us today for our Microsoft Office 365 webinar on Microsoft Teams. Joining us today is our Microsoft Solutions Sales Professional, Orad Arbazada. We're going to get right into our main presentation in just a few moments, but first I have a few housekeeping items. Please enter your questions in the question box on the right-hand side, and I will relay those questions to our speaker this morning at the end of the presentation. We do send out a survey at the end of the webinar. Please fill it out and let us know how we did, as well as topics you'd like to see covered on future webinars. You should see the survey, in your inbox later on today. Speaking of future webinars, please be sure to check out weekly webinar schedule on our website, www.onpoint.com/webinars. We are recording this webinar, which will be available for playback in a few days. Recordings are posted to our webinars page along with our upcoming webinar schedule. There you can also find previous webinar recordings. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started with our main presentation today. I'm happy to hand it off to our speaker, Orad, our Microsoft Solutions Sales Professional.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. And just want to confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, Orad, thank you.
All right, perfect. So today I'm going to be going over what Microsoft Teams is. As an introduction, my name is Orad Arbabzadeh. I am the software solution sales professional for Office 365 for PCM. So in regards to the platform, the plans that are available with Teams are more or less the combination of suites in regards to your tenant environment. So as you can see here, I've highlighted what Teams is included in. That's included in the Office 365 Business Essentials, the Business Premium, the Enterprise E1, the Enterprise E3, and the Enterprise E5 suites. So if any of your users in your organization is assigned to those licenses, they'll be able to access Teams. Now, Teams is a platform that Microsoft developed that allows your organization to communicate using a different model. It's designed for assisting your end users to better plan and organize their content and communication with each other, and allow your end users to automatically filter through the content that's more relevant to them. And I'll get to how that works in a second. To enable Teams on a tenant, you would need to sign up as a global admin to Office 365. Log into your admin portal, as you can see here. Give it 1 second. Go into your settings, service add-ins, and if you have already done so, you would want to go to Microsoft Teams to enable it. As you can see here, you're going to see a bunch of options as well that you can enable or disable in your organization for Teams. You can enable the personal profiles, the Skype functionality. Now, Teams allows your end users to not just communicate by messaging, but also communicate via Skype for instant reply and instant communication. In regards to the other functionalities, it also allows your organization to design a group functionality, so you can allow end users to be put into groups for organizational purposes, and as well as it accumulates the process for the Skype for Business. If you have a E5 plan with the PSTN functionality, allowing you to make and receive calls directly from that platform. Teams also allows you to schedule meetings and as well as join meetings just like you would with Outlook. It's a different kind of outline of addressing email being sent and back and forth or utilizing a platform. So it's more or less designed to take over in more as an end user's environment over Outlook in regards to the email functionality if an end user is working on a project or in a organizational environment. As you can see, there's other feature sets that you can add and remove in regards to your Teams environment. So you have complete control over the services that you want to enable in Microsoft Teams and the capability that it can do. Now, accessing Teams, once these are enabled, it's fairly easy. What you want to do as an end user, you're going to hit this waffle button right here, and it should be listed into your organization's portal under T or for Teams. So you want to go ahead and select that. It'll take you directly to the Teams site where it will populate immediately with the content that you are accessing. So as you can see here, we've populated with certain content in our organization on what Teams is. Now mind you, this is just a test tenant, so it's not going to have a lot of content in it. So in regards to the conversation, this allows me to, one, not just have a verbal conversation, but also include attachments, as well as allowing me to include emojis, stickers, and GIFs into the conversation. Everybody knows that just messaging back and forth sometimes becomes more traditional. You can't really relay the message or the behavior you want to try to send to somebody in regards to your communication. And sometimes with using a GIF or using a emoji can relay that message. So this allows you to include functionalities of the emojis that are included into the Office 365, as well as the GIFs. So it constantly downloads these content, and you have complete control over the visibility of the GIFs and the ratings of the GIFs that you want to enable into this environment. So you can send messages with the GIFs to your end users as you go forward in regards to the platform, as well as you can include options to meeting directly right now in regards to an end user if they're both online, if you guys have a team online. So in regards to the chat, this is going to take you directly to private conversations that you're having with a specific end user, kind of utilizing the functionality of what you would do with Skype, but this allows it to be automatically organized into the conversation so you can always refer back to it later. In regards to the activity portal allows you to have visibility to any place that you might have been mentioned. Now, what Teams allows you to do is refer to other people in the organization that is in your global address book with an @ functionality. So if I'm discussing something with someone else and I need to refer to a third party to join the conversation, I can just do the @ and then their name, and it automatically will tag the person joining into that conversation. So it'll allow them to utilize this services, and the activity will show you all the places that you might have been mentioned in regards to your conversations. So as you can see here, this is the automatic bot that's enabled on here that allows you to read the functionalities of what's going on into this environment, as well as my recent team members that are on here that allows me to immediately jump in and have a conversation with them. In regards to meetings, Teams does synchronize to your Outlook meeting functionality. So it does have the capability of scheduling meetings, as well as it synchronizes with the content meetings that you might have been linking to your Outlook. So you have both visibility of your entire calendar, as well as the meetings that you're attending, as well as the team meetings that you're attending in your organization. In regards to files, it allows you to store content and have visibility of your stored content on all the different platforms that you might have access to. So as you can see here, it's pulling the information from my OneDrive as well as my Teams site. So my Teams site allows me to use part of the functionality of SharePoint to store content that I will be needing to refer back to. So this is giving me access, immediate access to files and folders that I might be using in regards to my conversation, in regards to what I'm trying to relay to an end user on the other end. Now, these are the web browser functionalities. As you can see here, Teams does also have the capability and it does have a application that installs on the desktop. So you can hit this download right here and it'll download a quick add-on that allows you to utilize Teams. One second, it's actually recovering. Allows you to utilize Teams in regards to an application mode. So this is going to allow me to use it just like the way I would use Outlook. So we're going to go over here and type in Teams, and it should populate with the desktop app. And so I can show you what the desktop app looks like. So kind of like the way Outlook works and OWA works, it allows the same kind of visibility on using the desktop application as well as the feature sets that are going to be available on the web browser format. Okay, there we go. So as you can see here, it's going to show me everything in regards to my content in the same aspect that I had accessibility onto my web browser format. And also Teams is available on utilizing it on the smartphones and tablets. So you can easily download Teams on all the devices that your end users are going to be using for them to start communicating and start elaborating in regards to their conversation and organization of their communication with each other. So Teams allows you to build out a different functionality of communication. So instead of getting bombarded with a bunch of emails and being grouped into a bunch of emails and being CC'd or directly messaged into a bunch of emails and having to swift through all the content to what's relevant to you, end users would use the @ sign to immediately refer to the specific topic that they want you to focus on in the communication. So this allows you to swift through emails that are being passed back and forth a lot quicker. It allows communication to be addressed faster with your end users and projects to be done faster as well because there's no delay in response. It also allows you, if you guys wanted to enable it, using the Skype immediately functionality, which we don't have it enabled on our end, but it will allow you to immediately from the app open Skype and have the conversation directly from Skype with an end user as well, using the web browser or the desktop app. So immediately allowing your communication and response into a fully functional format. And Teams is compliant. All the content and communication that is done on Teams can be archived and run e-discovery against. So it does allow the functionality for organizations to start utilizing this format, knowing that in regards to the compliance, it is the factor it's already taken into consideration, and it's enabled that the solution to fully abide by the rules that most organizations are going to have in regards to the archiving solution that they would run e-discovery in regards to their Exchange platform. So this allows that same kind of content management and searchable criteria if you're running e-discovery against the end user's environment. So this is also very searchable in regards to managing content that's stored onto the Teams environment. So building out Teams is very easy, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how that's done right now. You can easily come over here, and what you would do is select this right here. You can easily remove teams or add channels, or you can come here and create a new team or send a message to a new team. So Teams allows me to directly hold on one second, add team, to create team members, teams in different organizations that I might be involved in, such as if I was going to do Office 365 project, I can easily write a quick description and then also abide by the functionality of who can join the team. So as a team organizer, I can set this to be public so that anybody could join the team without my notice or my approval process. Or I can set it into private mode where only administrators or owners of the team can add members to this organization. So what we'll do is we'll set this as public. We'll go ahead and hit next. And this is going to take me directly to adding members. Now this is pulling the information directly from your global address book that's on Office 365. So it's going to utilize that same address policy. So I'm going to go ahead and look for a contact. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and hit add. See if I can find another one. There we go. Go ahead and hit add. And then that's it. So I can, as soon as I'm done with adding the members that I want into this team, I can hit close and my team is built. So I can, on here, I can add more channel or add more people to this, add more channels, and add more or open the fact box where it allows me to view what kind of content that I'm allowed to do or what Teams is in regards to this solution. So if I have any questions or need verification on what the policies are, you have all those content allowed like right in front of you where you can do easily search against this environment. So we're going to go back to this. I'm going to go back to the Office 365 projects, and then we're going to go ahead and create a channel. A channel allows me to divide the different types of communication that I'm having. So I can just do Los Angeles project add. And there we go. Now I have a project team and multiple projects that I can easily have communications with. Now I can also have a conversation with this in regards to the solution with all the people that are involved in the teams. So I can just immediately start saying hi. I can also on here attach documents that I have access to in my environment. So whatever's stored on my OneDrive, it's going to automatically show on here, as well as if I have content in my Teams, which I don't right now, but if I have content in my Teams, it'll show you directly on there. As well as you can upload content directly from your desktop as well. So if you have something stored on your desktop that you need to attach into this environment, excuse me, you can easily do that. So I'm going to go back to this. I'm just going to upload this document, and immediately it's set up as an attachment on here. I can immediately add a GIF as well. Let's just go ahead and pick something out. And I'm going to hold it, go ahead and send the conversation. So now it's uploading not just the content, but as well as the GIF in regards to the conversation that we're going to be having with this project. As well as I can add other channels if I needed to reorganize this conversation into different aspects. Teams does also allow Meet Now functionality, which you can download the app. It's not available yet, but this does allow communication in regards to video conferencing immediately on the conversation piece, and will allow you to record that conversation and post it on a project. So if not necessarily that you're going to be able to show whatever you want to relay the message by document, sometimes you may need to visually show a person in regards to a picture or a video chat of what that message is that you're trying to get there. So this does allow you to do that as well. Now, as I stated earlier, all communications and content that I'm storing that I did on the web browser is also going to be done directly on my Teams server or Teams application on my desktop as well. So if as soon as this refreshes, there we go. Go ahead and close this and start it off again. All right. And this is pretty much the back-end functions of Teams. So this does allow all the services that most organizations are looking to deploy and implement in an organization of what Teams is and what it can do in regards to a platform to utilize this on Office 365 environment. So that's about it in regards to the planning and the solution and the deployment. So as long as your organization has these plans, you automatically, as of right now, have a capability of utilizing Microsoft Teams in your organization. And I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. If there's any questions, please let me know.
Great, thank you, Orad. So we have some time left remaining for questions. Again, if you have any questions that have not yet shared, please go ahead and enter them in the question box now. With that, Orad, I'm going to go ahead and read out some of the questions that the attendees have asked. So we have one here from Stephen Davis. So he's asking, will this work with Google Docs?
No. Teams is an Office 365 product.
Okay.
Well, I need to clarify. What does he mean with Google Docs? Like attaching Google Docs to his Teams so he can upload content, or utilizing Google Docs with Teams?
Stephen, can you provide more details on your question via the chat box? For now, I'm going to put that one on hold, and I'm going to go ahead and give you another one. So we have Ed Steenman, who's asking, when will Teams be available for government customers?
Teams, as of right now, for government customers is in regards to the planning. I think it should be available soon, if not within the next month or two.
Okay, perfect. We have a question from Shola Salako, who's asking, can you add team members that are outside the organization, for example, contractors, vendors, etc.?
Yes, you can.
Awesome. So here's Howard with a question about the @. So if we have @mention someone who has not used Teams before, what does the user see, and will they be notified?
They will get notification on their Outlook that there's a Teams conversation being had. Yes, they can get notified, but if they're using Teams, so Teams is more or less designed as a solution outside of Outlook or outside of your Exchange. So in regards to a solution where an end user will come in and open immediately Outlook, Teams is designed to be pretty much competitive in that nature. So an end user will come in, instead of opening Outlook to review the messages or emails that they might have gotten, they would open as well as Teams to view the messages that are sent directly to them in regards to conversations.
Okay, perfect. We have Steven who responded, and he's asking, yes, can information be attached from Google Docs?
So information can be uploaded. So if you have Google Docs and it's synchronizing to that desktop or to that device, you can upload content, but you're not going to be able to add, as of right now, Google Docs as one of the options for visibility into a storage container.
Okay. We have Brent who's asking, does the Skype integration work with hybrid Skype setup or only 365?
It does work with a hybrid Skype setup. As long as your hybrid Skype setup has visibility into Office 365 and an end user is licensed with an Office 365 license.
Okay. This one's kind of touching base on the question that was asked earlier. So for external users, contractors and vendors, right, what is the account requirement? They just need an Outlook account to be invited?
No, they need to have access to either an E1, E3, E5, Business Premium, or Business Essential license. So you're still providing them with a license, but they would need to also have that license for them to be included into this Teams conversation. Otherwise, it's sending them directly an email into the conversation, which doesn't allow them to organize it the same way that Teams allows it to organize it initially in the setup.
Okay. So yesterday it was announced that there are going to be many new features for education, and Greg is asking if you can tell us a little bit more about those features that are going to be added, and when will they be live?
In general, in regards to the education for Office 365, or they're talking about Teams?
It says education incorporated into Teams.
So education incorporated in Teams, a lot of the feature sets, yes, they are working on and constantly are adding feature sets to that. As of right now, the capability is what you would see on here. They are designing this to be more elaborate and allow teachers and students to coordinate and collaborate with each other as well in regards to the conversations. But that policy in regards to the plans and the services that you would get in Teams for education, as just like the government, should be out within the next month or two.
Fantastic. So I think we have, I'll go ahead and ask a few more questions. So we have Howard who's asking if we can migrate groups to Teams. his department is already using groups.
So groups and teams are two separate solutions. You can move or rebuild your communications on Teams, but no, there's no migration path as of right now moving content from groups to Teams on a simplicity matter.
Got it. So we have David who is asking if there's a way to only give Teams to a subset of users.
Yes, you can assign Teams just like you can assign any other feature set to any user or a specific group of users in the organization. So you don't necessarily have to assign Teams to everybody.
We have a question from David who is asking, can Active Directory groups control access to the team sites?
If your Active Directory is federated with Office 365, yes.
Okay. And so I'll close with this one. This is from George, and he's asking, from a management and security POV, where is the content stored for Teams?
It's just like in regards to the communication, stored into the SharePoint profile on the back end. So it still utilizes a SharePoint back end for its content management, but it doesn't use any of the storage in the SharePoint that you guys would already have. So on the back end, backbone of Teams, on the document management side, it is utilizing SharePoint.
Awesome. Actually, we have another really good question, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it, and we'll close out with that one. So the question is, Carolyn is having a hard time explaining Teams versus groups. Can you help us differentiate those two?
So Teams allows an informal and formal way of communication, and also incorporating functionalities of Skype and email and management of documents all in one platform, as opposed to groups, which just does the document management and communication email functionality. So Teams allows not just me to write a message, but to incorporate GIFs with that message, to incorporate emojis with that message, and be more interactive with my communication as opposed to a standard subset of lines.
Awesome. So with that, thank you very much, Orad. This has been very informative, and thank you all for joining us today. Be sure to check us out on www.ontpoint.com/webinars for on-demand recordings and for our upcoming schedule. Thanks again for joining us, everybody, and we hope to see you again for future webinars. Have a great day.